Hello, I'm Ian.
This is Halloween. Oh no, sorry, wrong pod.
This is Halloween. That's how we should start it. I don't really know. There's no other Christmas song, is there? Well, I suppose.
Oh no, so I can't even do that, can I?
I
can't
don't
even-
know. I don't know if Danny Elfman has a copyright on it or not.
Merry Christmas, one and all. Such a
Christmas.
rancor is here for you all.
Absolutely. I'm Ian. That's clearly a man who just can't quite work out a script, and so he's just like,
Well, I've just done it for you. I've just
Well, you just
literally,
said happy-
I've just improved a song.
That's true.
Merry
Yeah, we'll
Christmas.
still get that in. Merry Christmas. I'm not saying. Well, no, we're going to keep this in. We're going to keep this in.
No,
This is a
I'm
good
putting
start.
I'm doing the song again.
Okay.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, one and all. Such a rancor is here to entertain you all. Sam is here. Ian is also here.
And we're going to be talking about 3 Christmas movies that none of you have watched.
The best Christmas films of the 2010s.
We're gonna. Well, are they? Well, the most. I'm going to say most well known, but they're probably not that either. We have picked 3 very random Christmas movies, and we are going to rank them against one another to try and see if we can come up with the best movie of. Well, I mean, the earliest movie I think of this list is 2015, so the last 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that'll work.
And we're going to give more attention and detail into these films than any of the directors did.
And that's purely for the fact that we couldn't quite watch all 5 of the movies this year that we had planned. So
No.
you're getting 3,
No.
but a bumper, more in-depth
that
episode of all 3.
That didn't happen.
That definitely didn't happen.
Where do we start? Should we start with The Last Christmas?
Let's start with The Last Christmas. Why not?
What were they thinking?
What were they thinking? It's quite. I mean, from every level,
Did you want to watch Sixth Sense mixed with Notting Hill?
it's such an odd movie, isn't it?
Well, I think we'll get into more of this, but who is this film for?
A very I say a common film for the list. One of our movies is very much centered around who was this for. But yeah, Last Christmas feels like that as well. I can kind of see more of a rom-com vibe about it, so there's an audience there. Perhaps some sort of perhaps the audience, perhaps they're aiming for a really niche audience, like those who have had quite complicated heart surgery. That's quite a money spinner, I suppose.
Well, I remember a very famous mid-2000s ITV drama where a man had a heart transplant and he's basically living his life knowing that he is living and the person who previously had that heart is no longer, and coming to grips with that. Basically the ultimate film on like survivor's guilt.
Did Emma Thompson watch that?
I think Emma Thompson probably watched that and then watched The Sixth Sense 2 hours later and thought, fuck it, I'll splice
we
them.
can do this. This makes sense. We can put
And,
a happy Curtis spin on this.
Should we speak about Emma Thompson?
Why not? Let's start there.
She is the writer of this film.
Yep.
She is obviously an acclaimed actress of, well, British cinema
She's
for the
quite an
past
acclaimed
20, 30
writer
years.
as well. Like in the grand scheme of things,
Well,
she hasn't written poorly.
She hasn't written too much, but previously she had a very good run as a
She won an
screenwriter.
Oscar for her writing.
She did. But
Sense and Sensibility.
yes, it
Yeah?
was Sense and Sensibility.
Okay. So quite acclaimed then.
Well,
you win an Oscar.
Well, I'm more thinking she hasn't done a lot.
yeah, true.
I think she's got maybe 4 story credits: Sense and Sensibility, the Nanny McPhee films, and this.
Okay.
So yeah, before this, her writing credentials were high. She hasn't written since this film. How do you think this film went over, like, tonally?
I think it's easy to put it on in the background and just watch it. And allow let's say the tone of it to kind of wash over you, because I don't think you can. It's not the complete responsibility, I would say, as Emma Thompson as a writer, for it to tonally be up and down. I also think that's a responsibility of the director.
True.
So I don't think it's necessarily something that we could just go, oh, Emma Thompson, you did do a great job there. And I really have to underline the fact that I love Emma Thompson.
Yeah.
First of all, like, fantastic.
I'm actually a
actor.
big fan of the Nanny McPhee films.
I'm a big fan of everything she's done. Did you see the Good Luck to You, Leo Grande movie that came out
No,
a couple of
but
years ago.
I've heard very good things.
Brilliant movie.
Well, Saving Mr. Banks is
Saving Mr. Banks, fantastic movie. I mean, pretty much anything like that where she's in, I will watch anything that she's in. She's fantastic. This was a real blip. Do you know what I mean? This was like a real, like from a writing perspective. If we are going to focus on tone, for me, I didn't like the twist at the end. Do you know, are we going to do spoilers?
yeah.
Should we do spoilers? Okay, right. This is a massively heavy spoiler cast.
Not many people have seen these films.
So, what did you think of that?
I thought it was extremely predictable after maybe the second scene with the male lead.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, I think we said that. I think there are elements of direction in terms of making it very predictable.
yes.
But from a writing perspective, like what do you do with that? It's twist being for the audience. Last Christmas is essentially a rom-com where someone is Emilia Clarke's character gets a heart transplant or has heart surgery, and she has a heart replacement from someone who's just died. She's essentially haunted by that person who died, who happens to be Henry Golding, who you think throughout the movie is her budding love interest.
But you don't really know much about any of this, really, for a long while into the film.
You know about her heart condition.
Yeah, but the film really is about her trying to find her place and move up in the world because she wants to be a singer.
Mm-hmm.
But she works as an elf for Michelle Yeoh.
No, I think you know about like the heart stuff happens pretty early on.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it's the divine, like, what's the word? Like through line of the film.
No, but it's obvious enough
She's
that it then feels really separate to it because obviously people are concerned about it, but it's enough where it's kind of like, "Hi, I'm here." It was a big scene at the beginning. We can't just then ignore the fact that she's had this surgery at the beginning, and it's quite, it then it is a central focus of her character throughout the movie. I just think that
I think that's where I think it's where it becomes a tonal problem. It's just because she's not particularly likable, even with this information.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, if you compare, British rom-coms with like, obviously there's Richard Curtis and like Hugh Grant's characters in Four Weddings and a Funeral and Notting Hill, and you really like him. Like he has redeeming features where the film just tries its best to basically make us really dislike this person.
Yeah.
So it's a very odd tone in terms of like character popularity.
And she also doesn't really have much of a redemption arc in it. Like, were they trying to emulate something like Scrooge, where it's almost like an unlikable character that then has a redemption at the end?
It's when she goes really into talking about her previous heart problems with I can't remember his name in real life. Henry Golding?
Yep.
Henry Golding's character, when she tells him about all this. And after that, she sort of picks it up a bit and tries to like be a better person. And then we go into the choppy waters with her family, and that's again where it gets a bit tonally weird, where there's like a lot of like sort of like quite deep family trauma.
Yeah.
That we go into, which is kind of interesting. But the previous film we saw that was like this kind of light-hearted Christmas.
Yeah. That's what you say about the tonal stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like it shifts quite dramatically.
It's like, what kind of film are you trying to make? And then
yeah.
by the time the twist, you're just like, this is like deep into like Sixth Sense territory.
Yeah.
So just an odd. I mean, I remember the film coming out and the twist being like this big controversy, and I would just say it was very predictable. Like for me.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's not a particularly good film, and it doesn't make you feel very Christmassy. It actually makes you probably want to avoid Christmas, which is not what you want from your Christmas film.
No, but I mean, the other films on our list aren't exactly films that make you feel happy about. Christmas season.
Well, we'll go into them in a bit. But your overall takeaway of Last Christmas?
So the big thing for me is I found the twist. I did find the twist dumb.
Yeah,
like I didn't find it interesting. I thought it was very. I don't know. It just felt a bit like it was all a dream. It was that kind of twist to it where I was like, oh, this is just so overwrought, and it's playing for that emotional connection rather than actually making you, which you want from these types of films, is like the relationship. you want them to come through the trials and tribulations of what they're going through, and then be together at the end. That's the point of these movies.
Yeah. Felt like very much a film on the fly. Felt like the
Yeah.
script probably needed a few more drafts done.
Yeah.
Just to get a bit more emotion out of all the characters.
Yeah, and kind of actually work out what they wanted to say.
I will say one thing. The film was not funny, which is quite important for a comedy.
Yeah.
I think I
really like Emilia Clarke. I do like her. I like her personality. I think she's the best type of actor for a role like this because it's so far away from what you would know her for in the Game of Thrones stuff. But she just has niceness about her, like when you see her in interviews and stuff, that translates really well to movies like this. The feel-good movies.
This is the closest to what I feel like she would kind of be like in real life.
Yeah.
Sort of a bit.
Oh, no, I would say Me Before You.
I've not seen Me Before You.
So that's like, I think that's it. But I mean,
yeah.
She just did the Marvel Secret Invasion stuff, which I know that people are going to be ignoring. Yeah, so she's not done a lot of great stuff since then, but you would have thought this was a fairly easy role, fairly kind of.
Yeah, but there were so many. Yeah, there was just like the police officers in this film was like some of the humor that they were trying to muster from these kind of moments was just really flat.
Yeah,
and
I tell you what, this would have been good for the script to have been given to say Richard Curtis, just to kind of give a once over. Even though he's been a lot more missed than hit over the last few years,
over the last 22 years,
it would be like quite interesting to see like what he would have viewed or what he would have done to the script.
But I suppose the film fails as a Christmas feel-good film, and it also fails as a comedy
or a drama.
I quite liked the chemistry between Emilia Clarke and Henry Golding.
Yeah, they've got good chemistry.
But outside of that, I think the film is a bit of a turkey.
Yeah.
Do you see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
It's not quite mistletoe worthy, more like Brussels sprout. Oh,
I like Brussels sprouts.
Of course
you do them right.
Of course you do.
Yeah, you just chuck them in with a bit of bacon. Done.
Well, anything with bacon's better.
That's why.
Speaking of bacon,
where are you going with this? I'm waiting with bated breath. Where are you going with this transition?
Well, no, I was just going to talk about, red one. Is there a pig in Red One?
No, that's what I mean. Speaking of turkeys, you had a better transition a minute ago. Speaking of turkeys,
that would have been
Red
great.
One.
Yeah,
yes.
No, we'll do it again.
Okay.
Speaking of turkeys, Red One.
That's it. There we go. Yes.
Well, that's what you told me to say that.
Oh God, yeah, it's a Red One. Okay, this came out last year, 2024.
This came out about a year ago.
Yeah, I remember it came out really early November, and everyone being like, "Why is there a Christmas movie in November?"
So I remember this film being advertised, and no one had any idea what the hell it was or what's going on.
Amazon Prime movie, but had a theatre release.
Had a little theatre release.
Incredibly silly amount of money spent on it.
So, according to the reliable people at Wikipedia, the film cost between $200 to $250 million to make. Now,
let's put that in perspective.
Christmas films should not cost any more than about $100 at a push. Most big films with big budgets and big actors cost an absolute fortune these days. Like, you're talking $200 to $400 million for like a biggish film that, as you say, has legs. Now, Christmas films, they tend to make fairly good money, kind of like a horror film if it's a good, where you put a little bit of money in, you get a big return back. That specific time of the year. Who thought at Amazon or MGM that, let's say this film cost let's be nice and say this film cost $200 million to make. Who thought that this film was going to make $500 million?
Oh, I know. Like,
but who thought that?
Christmas movie.
During the entire making of this film, did anyone think that this film would make $500 million? Like this?
Well, I mean, this explains though the release schedule, right? Like, it was a Christmas movie. They obviously knew that it was going to go straight to streaming, but there was an element of Amazon just going, "Oh my God, no, we need to get some weekend box office for this." So that explains kind of the November. Now, what was 2024, right? Moana 2. There was a animated version of Lord of the Rings coming out in December, I think, that year. I know that ultimately flopped, but that's something that you'll want to make space for. What were some of the other ones?
Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2. Oh, I said Moana 2. Wicked had come out last year.
Wicked was the big one.
So there's some huge tentpole movies. Amazon must have just gone, oh no, we've got 200 to 250 million we've spent on this. Let's say conservative estimates is 200 million. We need this to release at Christmas, but this is what we're competing against. They would have had internal people watch this movie, knowing what the reactions are going to be. They would have tested it to no end. They had no choice. This had to come out beginning of November, which is why it didn't make any sense. Like when it came out, everyone was like, why is there a Christmas movie out at the beginning of November? This doesn't... It's normally still superhero movies coming out in November. It's baffling. Like, it mustn't have made any money at the cinema.
No, well, it just came and went.
It came and went.
And
I remember everyone saying how bad it was.
It made $185 million.
In cinemas? That's not bad.
You're basically looking at about, 200 million loss?
Well, I mean, let's say, we've been very nice to them, but let's say if it's a $250 million film, that's a $75 million loss. Well, more or less. And that's not without any marketing. You double it for marketing budget. That's mad. To wash its face, it would have had to have made $1 billion.
But the thing is, $500 million. I mean, we'll explain the premise now and then talk about other details.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Red One is essentially about J.K. Simmons plays Santa Claus, and he is preparing for Christmas Day with his sidekick assistant, The Rock, who essentially is his
it's his bodyguard.
Slash planner. He helps plan everything.
It's never really gone into it.
Father Christmas and Christmas Day is like a co-partnership with the military.
Well, I'm not sure if it's a co-partnership with the military. They just help him get along his way.
Yeah. And so basically, the day before he is scheduled to go, he gets kidnapped because Chris Evans' character, who doesn't believe in Santa Claus because of childhood trauma, so always got to be childhood trauma, has inadvertently found this hidden fortress of elves and mythical creatures. And Chris Evans needs to help The Rock find J.K. Simmons' Father Christmas.
Yeah. Who's been kidnapped
by Don Draper's daughter.
Because of the information that they've got from Chris Evans.
Yes. It's a bit much for a supposed Christmas film.
Unbelievable.
But this is where it's interesting. I watched it and I could sort of see little crumbs of potential. I was a big fan of everything that was associated with Krampus in this film because it was just so bonkers. And the humour kind of worked again in breadcrumbs. And it felt it had that kind of Marvel Disney sense of humour at times. Sometimes it didn't work. I think this is kind of the final resting place for the foundation of The Rock's acting career at that point that he'd been living off for 20 years. And it had elements of what could have been a really good film. Maybe not a really good film, but it's very small elements of something decent.
I really didn't like it.
Did you not think it had somewhat an adventurous, through line?
No.
There was a lot of stuff in it where you thought, it probably sounds silly, but it kind of reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's got this whole universe outside of what we know. And with Krampus in his part of the world, it's kind of like this crazy, adventurous Christmas. I don't know what the word is, association with Christmas.
So my thoughts here. So many questions to think about there. So let's deal with the lore stuff. I felt that the film was kind of buckled under the weight then of that lore. Because there's one point where Lucy Liu, who's the head of the military, who's helping... Well, I'm not sure if she's head of the military or not. She's head of the military services that Santa has at his disposal.
She's very bad in this film.
So she's but she's part of this wider initiative that protects fantasy beings on Earth. And I think at one point Chris Evans turns around and says, "Oh, so what does this mean? Then you protect things like the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's exactly it." And I tell you what, the most fun that I had in the movie was the bit where Chris Evans is being taken through that facility. So Chris Evans has just learned what his role in let's say the kidnappers plot is at finding out who, like where Santa is for the kidnappers to have taken him. And he's being taken through this facility. And there's a moment where you had when they're talking about the mythology and stuff like that, there's this massive fire horse that comes out of nowhere. And it's led by someone holding a pumpkin head that's also on fire. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're interviewing the usual suspects."
That's what I mean.
And it was like, "Oh, it's the Headless Horseman."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," because that's not someone I would have immediately have associated with that world. And I was like, "Okay, this is interesting." Problem is, that also brought up there was a Netflix film that came out a couple of years ago where they tried to basically, I think it was the dude who did Suicide Squad.
Oh, David Ayer.
Bright. Yeah, David Ayer did Bright.
Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, yeah.
Honestly, it was awful. And it was the idea of bridging that gap between like a fantasy land with all these mythological characters and police. It was basically trying to be like End of Watch, but in a fantasy world. It was awful. It just didn't work. I think there's a sequel to it. I have no idea. Or there's a sequel being made. It was bonkers anyway. That's what also came up in that scene where I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." But at the same time, I was like, "Oh no, please don't be that. Please don't be Bright. Please don't tell me we're about to go down like an action movie, The Rock version of like mythological creatures." So I felt like from the lore side of things, I think it was both buckled under that, because then it was just a bit like, well, this isn't a Santa story anymore. An extension of then my thoughts to this, and before I even got to lore, where I couldn't get over the cynicism of the movie. Like for me, like I couldn't get into things like the lore and stuff like that, because they spent the whole movie so dour. Like it was so dour. Like, "Oh, we don't believe in Christmas anymore, and the naughty list is the first year with the naughty list has taken over." And I felt it was because from a writing perspective, you have two really, really dour characters that are your buddy up. And so because of that, there was no hope. There was no Christmas magic. There was nothing that kind of brought light to what was going on. You just have two cynical assholes who then just lead a whole movie and then all of a sudden have weird revelations at the same time. And it was like, but that only then led to Santa actually delivering the gifts all along. And it's like, well, there's no Christmas spirit in any of this. Like, it's so cynical that I couldn't see any of the interesting, or let's say the interesting stuff that you saw in it with the lore, because I just thought, what am I watching? This is just so awful.
Well, I think that was kind of deliberate, really, from the off, because obviously Father Christmas is, I say Father Christmas, I can't say Santa for some reason, but I think he obviously is like, the Rock sees him as like the beacon of light, and if he's gone and he's already feeling a bit negative about the world, it's like he has to like break out of this.
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's where the cynicism comes in.
Yeah,
because then you don't have anything that breaks that. You don't have any other characters that show up, because every scene, and we'll probably talk about this in a minute. Another big issue that the film has is, who is this film for?
Yes,
Sam, you mentioned this right there when we were talking about Last Christmas, but it's more an issue here. This film is for no one and everyone. Well, it's trying to be for everyone, but it's actually for no one. It's got too much violence and swear words to be for kids, and it's trying too hard to talk to kids to speak to adults. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not going to please any crowd. It's not, if you're looking at your quadrants of the movie world, let's say, you're not going to you're having producers going, "Oh yeah, we'll get the teens in on this one. We'll get this. It'll be a real teen movie." No, it's not. It's not. It's none of those things. And so because it kind of lacks any focus, it lacks an audience, it then means that then any of the other stuff that's happening is then, it then just becomes too cynical for its own good, because it's not trying to appeal to everyone. It's in its cynicism that it's probably trying to be cool for the kids, but that just doesn't work. You then have no Christmas hope, you have no Christmas cheer, because you take out Santa within the first 20 minutes of the movie, and then you're just left with these two guys who have no Christmas cheer. Like, their journey isn't for Christmas cheer. Their journey is, literally, let's go to a beach in one scene and fight snowmen, and then let's go to Krampus another second and talk about the naughty list, because for some reason we need to have 25 minutes dedicated to that. Then we're going to have all this stuff with a witch.
Well, that was the weakest part by far of the film. The film kind of falls apart. I mean, I don't know about you, but the whole thing with the villain just fell horribly flat.
I didn't understand what was going on most of the time. I was just like, why? Like, particularly since they even described it that she was basically the girlfriend of Krampus. So what were they trying to say then? That she was like, she just became like the ultimate bad guy entity. Because even at the end, the Krampus is like redeeming himself with Santa, just being like, yo, bro.
Yeah.
Because he's brothers with Santa.
Well, I think they were trying to go down a 4 Loki.
Oh, man.
Route.
But
I said before the pod, I think the film would have been much more interesting if it was J.K. Simmons' Santa against Krampus.
That's what I mean. So strip out the lore stuff. So,
yeah.
Ironically, that's the stuff that we found interesting.
No, keep all that in. Have the film focused on like those two and their relationship. Don't have Chris Evans. Maybe have The Rock, but probably not played by The Rock.
Chris Evans' character made no sense.
But Chris Evans' character, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Chris Evans outside of Captain America, but yeah, he didn't. He's just a bit of a goof in this film.
I just didn't understand his point. Like, I didn't understand his reason in it at all. He plays like a character. Like, if you think about it, like, but he's not even the cynical character in it. The Rock is supposed to be the cynical character in it. It's supposed to be about The Rock getting his Christmas cheer back. It's got.
Well, Chris Evans
shouldn't have anything to do with Chris Evans.
Chris Evans at the start of the film, he basically has his like heart shattered by being told that Santa doesn't exist.
Yep.
And then you have The Rock, who has the complete opposite view. He has like experienced everything with Santa, and he's like also disillusioned. So I think the idea is to bring these two cynical versions, and they need to like team up to like save Christmas.
I mean, that's the idea. That's the idea, but that's how it doesn't translate.
No.
And that's why I'm saying, like, where there's huge tonal issues. There's huge issues with then who this is aimed for. There's huge issues with how you tell the story. So much
swearing,
and the cynicism around it is just awful, because no one really has a redemption arc in any of this. The end of the movie is literally, this is great. We've saved Santa so that he can deliver all the presents in time. At least with Last Christmas, there's an element of romanticism about it, right? Like, you can get like a romantic story, like the Henry Golding storyline and stuff like that. There's elements of that which is interesting. I didn't think there was any redeeming elements about.
So, some people will have fun with this film, but I think for me, the money that's been put in for what this is kind of unbelievable. And that's where I think most people's sort of feelings are towards this. Because I don't think it's
most of the discussions around how much this costs.
Yeah, I don't think it's an awful film. It's one of those discussions where it's like, how you put £250 million into a product dollars into a product that clearly won't make its money back. It's the kind of money you put in where you feel like it's money laundering, where it's like there must be a reason why they've put this much money into a Christmas film. I mean, the CGI was pretty average.
It's very
like late 2000s.
It's really inconsistent. Some of it was okay. Some of it was fine. Some of it was awful. I mean, like, I liked the snowmen CGI. I thought was interesting. Like when they were like, when the snowmen had, for some reason, swords, and they were cutting through like the bar, and the bar then freezes open and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Did you get a laugh at the bit where
no,
Chris Evans says to The Rock, no, The Rock says we need to save Christmas. And then he kept trying to make Chris Evans say it, but he thought the whole situation was too ridiculous. You don't think people will laugh at that?
I mean, people might have laughed at it. I didn't. But people might.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's for those people.
Yeah.
No, I there's been much. There's been much worse films that I've seen of late, but it's just the sheer money is like the biggest eye opener of this film. But I think it's harmless. It's harmless fun.
It is. Well, I don't think it's fun.
J.K. Simmons got jacked for this film, and you will appreciate.
No, J.K. Simmons has always been jacked. He didn't get jacked for this film. J.K. Simmons is an absolute beast.
Yeah, but he got really jacked.
No, he was way before that. J.K. Simmons is a.
He wanted Father Christmas to look sexy.
J.K. Simmons looks sexy in Whiplash.
Does he?
Yeah, when he's like Captain America.
Oh no,
what
he is. No, but he got but he got super hench after Whiplash.
Yeah, I can't remember what for though. I don't think it was for this. He's always been pretty.
I do love it. The third comment is, why did J.K. Simmons get jacked?
Because I know that.
Justice League apparently.
Okay.
Is he in the Justice League film?
Yeah, he's Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, of course he is. I think we should move on to Krampus, 2015.
2015.
A black comedy Christmas supernatural film.
Horror.
Horror, sorry. That kind of works.
Really does work.
Yeah.
I would say a celebration of practical effects in some areas.
Yes.
And actually the CGI that they used for other areas was more than passable for a film that's 10 years old.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
What did you think of the plot?
I thought the plot was quite refreshing.
Yes.
For a where'd you start with genre, right? Like it's obviously not. You couldn't turn around and say, oh yeah, it's a typically Christmas movie, but it is a really interesting use of a Christmas lore.
Yes.
Of Christmas lore to tell a horror story within.
Well, so the general premise is there's a family get together, and it's a very dysfunctional family. And basically, the son of Adam Scott's character basically has given up on Christmas, doesn't have the spirit of Christmas anymore because he's just had enough. And this unleashes Krampus to make them change the error of their ways in ways that may not please them.
I don't necessarily think it's necessarily make them see the error of their ways. It's more take out this kid's family so that then the kid has to recognise the spirit of Christmas and show and share that with everyone moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was good fun.
Yes.
Really good fun. For a horror movie.
A surprising... I mean, it didn't do incredibly well at the box office. It did well enough.
I remember people saying that. I think it was more reception. I remember lots of people seeing... I remember my mates at school... Every Christmas, they would always go and see a film as a family. It was like a tradition. And they saw Krampus the year it came out, and they were like, it's actually surprisingly good. My dad didn't realise what it was going to be, but it was surprisingly good.
Because you hear Christmas films. I mean, let's face facts. Christmas films are mostly bad.
Oh, yeah.
They are mostly formulaic, tired, cliched rubbish. But there's always a couple of gems here and there. Like Elf. I mean, think about Christmas films in the 2000s. How many good Christmas films were there? Like Elf is like the standout. Mm-hmm. So to release a Christmas film in 2015 that is kind of like a weird horror black comedy, and for it to kind of click and work, I think is quite interesting. And they didn't really crack on with it. There was nothing really like Krampus before Krampus. There's nothing really like Krampus after. So it's this nice little like weird moment where it just was this like nice little gem.
Yeah.
I think it's very Cabin in the Woods like tone, like vibe. It has like this just like crazy every 10 minutes something happens that you just don't expect. And it also has a lot of bleakness to it.
Yeah. I don't like the whole like a lot of the plot is driven by the Gran.
Yeah.
And the ties it back to its German roots of where the Krampus is and the lore and stuff like that. I thought was really interesting. I liked how like terrifying the horror is in it, you know? The practical effects are crazy. Like the bit was like where there's a moment where all the I'm going to say toys. The Krampus has delivered toys to the house, and the toys then start to come out of the boxes. And one of them is like a Jack-in-the-Box. It's just this huge, just kind of demon thing that just pops out of this small box. It's just eating the children. And you're like, and at one point, it like kind of gets up and it unhinges its jaw and kind of it's this weird clown face. And it's so good and it's so effective. the elves at one point as well, where they're like, oh, the elves are coming in. They've just dispatched like of the toys, and then the elves all of a sudden break in. They're just these like weird masked, like golems essentially that just kind of break through the window and are just like a gang at that point, getting everyone ready for the Krampus, and they're the ones responsible for building these creepy snowmen outside. It's so effective as a horror movie, and it stays with you because it's those practical effects that are they're just good fun.
Are you astonished there's not a sequel? Or is there?
There is a Krampus 2.
Yeah, but is it like...
It's like a straight to DVD, should we say.
Like a proper spiritual proper sequel.
I mean, what did you do with the sequel to it, though? What I did like about it as well, just saying this practical sense front, is they didn't overstep their mark with the CGI. The places where they use CGI was really clever. So there's a point at the beginning.
Oh, I loved the introduction of Krampus.
Yeah, so with the girl who's walking through the street as with like all the women, and he's jumping across the buildings. But it's done in a way where it's obviously completely set back and it's in a blizzard. So you get away with so much. It's like Monsters. Did you ever see the
Gareth
Edwards Monsters, where it's like everything is shown kind of slightly off screen and stuff like that? And I think there was a Danish Troll Hunter movie which is very similar. And it's just that whole idea is like if you use CGI in a way that works and to your budget, and this is a really good example of that.
Yeah, it was. Do you think it kind of had that 90s vibe to it, where it felt very clever in its practical and CGI usage?
Yeah.
But for me, it was. I mean, obviously, Adam Scott's become huge because of
Parks and Rec.
No, the
Sovereign.
It's not Sovereign.
No,
Severance.
Severance. That's it.
Yeah, Adam Scott's now basically sort of hit his peak with Severance.
Yeah,
but this was probably the thing I liked the most with him in it. I've not seen Parks and Rec, and other than that, it's Step Brothers when he's singing "Sweet Child of Mine" in the car.
And you've not seen Severance, so you've basically missed all the things that he's known for. He's fantastic.
I know. Actually, I'll tell you what. My favourite thing associated with Adam Scott was he was on Jimmy Kimmel wasn't hosting. It was Kristen Bell
when he meets,
and it's when he meets Mark Hamill, and he's like little hand shaking.
Yeah,
and I thought that's so lovely.
Yeah,
just when Star Wars was magical. But yeah, out of the three films, I think out of the three Christmas films that we've talked about in this podcast, this is by far the best and most interesting.
Absolutely, in every aspect. I think like the whole premise of it is just really intriguing. Like the whole story of it.
It never stops unfolding and being interesting,
and it also sticks to its guns.
Yes,
it never cowers. It never stops. It keeps going to the very, very end, and it's so committed to the lore that it just works really well. The bit that I kind of feel was a bit of a not cheap, but when they leave the house to go and get their so towards the end of the film, they leave the house to go and get on a snowplow and then try and see if they can get to safety. And at that point, I think like six other people, six of the family get all picked off.
Yeah,
one after the other, really quick, because obviously they realise that the run time's pretty tight. I think it's hour and 35 minutes, something like that.
I think so.
It's a short run time, so it's short and sweet. It's good in that sense. But essentially, they obviously have to pick off quite a lot of the family at that point, and I was a bit like, that feels a bit wasted, because it felt like it felt like you guys had a few ideas. Like I bet you were knocking around a lot of ideas. Like for things that the Krampus could do. But yeah, it's a bit strange. Just to kind of go back to what you were saying at the beginning. You said that this was a black comedy. That's the one thing about it that I had issues with. Was I think they could have gotten away, the black comedy stuff for me, it wasn't comedic enough to warrant some of the more comedy moments. So they play like some slapstick sounds over certain movements. But I was invested in it as a horror movie that I didn't need that stuff. I think most horror movies need some humor in it anyway. So most of the lines that they try and play off as comedy would have been fine in a horror focused movie.
I think it's because it is involving Christmas, and I think you can't just with a Christmas film. Like a horror film like this, just be completely straight like horror. Yeah. I think you need that Christmas element, and I think with that you have to go sort of down the black comedy route. You've also got some really good actors who are very good with comedy in the film. So, yeah, no, I think it's an underrated gem.
Yeah. Oh, I liked it. I like Krampus.
Sound design's great. The look of it's great, and I think it's kind of amazed there wasn't a proper sequel. I think you could
happy that there's not though.
Well, it's a bit like what's the Smile films? Like Smile has that horrible bleakness to it, and I think they're going to make quite a few of them. And I think Krampus. I mean, Krampus, you could do it in like any timeline.
But then weirdly, no.
Krampus has been around for obviously centuries.
I would make the comparison to Happy Death Day. Not so much, because Smile doesn't have that black comedy-ness about it.
No, but it has that kind
creepiness
of creepiness, yeah.
But
and
if you want the black comedy, Happy Death Day, the first one, is like the second one's a bit batshit, but the first one is like really kind of self-aware. And so because of that, that absolutely nails the comedy as much as it does the horror. And I feel like if it was going to go down that route, I would like to see perhaps a bit more of that. I know Happy Death Day was after Krampus, but that's the kind of vibe that I'm looking for with it. It didn't derail the movie for me, but I think they were just the elements where I was a bit like, just commit a little bit more to the horror side of it. And actually, I think I would have been more on board with the other jokes, like Toni Collette's jokes and some of the like the family dynamics and that whole, chaos that kind of ensues from when families come together at that time of year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really, really effective.
Just very
built
really
well.
refreshing.
Really refreshing.
Yeah.
And it's so different to what you would normally expect, So yeah.
Yeah. Well, based on that conversation regarding Krampus, I think that's the clear winner.
Absolutely.
But what is the runner-up and the wooden spoon?
Last Christmas and then Red One is definitely the worst film on the list.
I had more fun with Red One.
I did not.
I thought that Red One, I could probably put that on in the background. And have a bit of fun with it whenever, I don't know, Krampus is on. But Last Christmas, I never need to watch that film ever again for the rest of my life.
I would say the same about Red One. It's a complete and utter waste of time. I think I dislike Red One more than you dislike Last Christmas.
But Red One has a snowman who's, his weak point is a carrot.
Did you laugh at that?
I didn't laugh, but I know some people would.
Let's just wrap this podcast up.
Why?
We're done.
No, Red One's better than Last Christmas.
It's not.
What would you rather?
I dislike both of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's underline that.
Oh, yeah.
I dislike both of these
This is
movies.
like, would I rather wake up with diarrhea or stomach bugs?
Would I rather have diarrhea or explosive diarrhea?
Yeah.
It's one of those two things.
I think Red One.
I cannot justify the budget. Can you imagine? We could have got 5 films for Red One. We could have got 5 Last.
Yeah, but those 5 films could have been.
We could have got 5 Krampuses.
Those 5 films could have been the sequel or prequel to Last Christmas. Had its moments. Red One. That's all I'm saying. Last Christmas had no moments.
Neither of them have any moments whatsoever.
Well, J.K. Simmons when he was working out.
Right, 100%. Top is Krampus, second is Last Christmas, and third is Red One.
Debatable.
Not debatable.
Well, the Krampus is winning.
You have to agree with this.
I don't have to.
No matter what happens, Krampus wins. Go and see Krampus.
Okay.
Where can we find it?
Ironically,
if you want to go and see it, if you want to go and see it, at the moment, in the UK at least, it's available through Sky and probably Now TV.
Yes, I believe so.
Cool.
But you can rent it on Prime.
Or you can anywhere.
Or you can go to CEX and buy a physical copy.
Probably for about 50p.
Probably 50p, yeah. But it's funny that we've talked about 3 films and this is the first time we haven't actually agreed on a thorough ranking.
Can you imagine if we had more films on this list? So there we have it.
Yes.
Thank you for taking part in another latest episode of Such a Ranker, the Christmas edition. Ho ho ho!
Oh, we didn't get. Oh, hang on. Have you got
sleigh bells?
I might have to.
Are we going to sleigh bell this?
Is that copyright?
Have I got a solo this for a little while? Anyway, Thank you for taking part in the latest episode of Such a Ranker. How would you rate our list of 3 movies? This sounds fantastic, by the way. This is just a guy trashing his room for a sleigh bell. How would you rate our list? Would you do anything differently? Did you like Red 1 more than I did? We would love to hear your opinions. Take care, and we'll use this musical interlude to wish you a Merry Christmas. And that's Christmas bells, if you can't.
It does actually kind of sound like wanking, to be honest.
It does sound like wanking. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas movies, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.